are those of the host or guest and should not be interpreted as statement of fact. Independent fact-checking and corrections are encouraged. This episode is brought to you by Fundwise Capital. Fundwise Capital is a business lender matching platform. Avoid the mystery of one-sided deals and connect with Fundwise to get the very best funding you can qualify for fast. You can apply online in 60 seconds or less, and there's no effect to your credit to see how much you can get. It's easy. Use the funding for anything you need to start or grow your business. You did hear me correctly. I did say start or grow your business. If you don't have a business yet, but you got a solid business plan, they can help you get funding. Get the best funding you can qualify for. Their strategic lender matching platform searches through hundreds of lenders to find the very best possible option for your unique situation. They have hundreds of 5-star reviews on Google, Trustpilot, and Facebook, and an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. They provide unsecured lines of credit at 0% interest for 9 to 15 months. Unsecured term loans, loans based on income, short-term gap funding, and bridge loans. They work with real estate, startups like I already mentioned, franchises, restaurants, any kind of business, any kind of project. To get started, it's really easy. Just go to apply.fundwise.com/minddog. That's apply.fundwise.com/minddog. Get money for your business now. Apply.fundwise.com/minddog.
Is everybody ready for the Mind Dog, the magnificent show?
Hey, they.
Start the clock!
And welcome, my friends, to yet another episode of the Mind Dog TV podcast. I'm Matt Nappo. Thanks for coming. It's great to have you here. As always, Craig Mitchell is back with us tonight. He's about to relaunch Off the Cuff Cooking again. Yeah, I got to give the guy credit for persistence. You're dedicated to an idea. Got to stick it through. Nobody ever. Well, I shouldn't say nobody ever. Very few people hit the mark on their first attempt at a target. So it's a difficult thing, folks. You got to keep trying, and you got to keep persistent. If you believe in what you're doing, stay persistent. I have to point out that Craig is also a Mets fan, which means he kind of likes pain. And we're going to talk to him about that too, probably as well as everything about the show and the Big Bad Broadcast, which he is a co-host of, as well as Off the Cuff Cooking. Ladies and gentlemen, please open your ears, open your minds, and help me welcome back Craig Mitchell to the Mind Dog TV podcast. Craig, welcome back.
Hey, thanks. Thank you so much for having me, Matt. You're right. It's a relaunch. You know, I'm relaunching more than the
More
Soyuz
Tesla.
program.
Yeah.
The Tesla. There you go. SpaceX. Only mine doesn't land nicely. It kind of crashes and burns up the surrounding area, but that's okay.
Interestingly enough, I had a friend of Elon Musk's on last night who was a former head of NASA or deputy administrator of NASA.
Wait, he has friends?
Yeah, well, yes, because why wouldn't he be her friend? She helped him get the contract with the government that's making him billions of dollars off of SpaceX. Why wouldn't she? Why wouldn't he be her friend?
A friend with benefits.
Yes. But I was, talking about that, about, basically how much he's making off the government. And is that transparent? And can we know about that? But she said, what difference does it make? If he's saving taxpayers' money, and he's benefiting the people, what do we care how much he makes?
I personally, I know that he's polarizing and divisive, but I'm sorry, when I saw his rocket land on that floating platform in the Atlantic and not blow, I was like, this is like some futuristic 1950s sci-fi stuff come to life. I mean, it blew me away. I'm a big space fan. I'm a big Mets fan and a big space fan. So,
well, if you can send the Mets out of space, I think you'd get No,
you don't remember the Mercury Mets way back when?
Mercury Mets. No,
They
well,
did a sci-fi game where they dressed in futuristic uniforms,
I
and they
think
were
that
the
was
Mercury
it
Mets.
had to be during the time, and I'm still on my time where I'm not really paying attention. I pay attention at least to what is fed to me on Twitter. That's all I really
Oh,
know.
there you go. Okay.
But I know I don't. I can't. I can't get emotionally invested in anything. I can't pay attention to it. If I
It
do,
hurts. It
yeah.
hurts.
Yeah.
I'm also a Jets fan, so
So you're a masochist in a major big way, and I get that. I mean, I
yeah.
know lots of people who are.
Masochist.
Chris Monty is going to be with me next week. He's a big Mets fan and Jets fan as well.
I don't know if you can call me a masochist, although I use jumper cables for nipple clamps, so
There you
maybe
go.
that's true. I don't know.
uh, so tell the people about Off the Cuff again, and why you're launching again, and where you're launching again, and how they can get to it.
Off the cuff, healthy cooking. Craig Mitchell is my baby. I created this about 5 years ago. I was diagnosed as a type 2 diabetic. I was 400 pounds. A lot of health stuff has come down since then, and I'm very grateful that I got my type 2 diabetes under control with diet only. And somebody told me to write a book. Instead, I said I'd rather perform, and I started to do a comedy cooking show. And all the shows are available on YouTube. If you go to the YouTube, if you go to Off the Cuff with Craig Mitchell on YouTube, you can see the earliest episodes where I absolutely sucked. I mean,
All right.
it's
Let me interrupt you just really quickly there, because I know I was really I don't know, influential in you guys changing the name from Baby Boomers, whatever it was, to
oh yeah,
bitchin' Baby Boomers to Big
right,
Bad Broadcast.
right.
That's a really long for people to type in. Scrolling across the bottom now, youtube.com/C for channels
I think
slash
it's just
off
I
the
think
cuff
it's
healthy cooking.
I think it says Off the Cuff with Craig Mitchell. I pretty much don't say healthy cooking anymore, but that's what my logo says, so I say it once in a while.
Yeah, but to get to the YouTube, that's the URL that actually.
I think you don't. I don't think you need the healthy cooking. Let me just check. But I'm actually gonna
Maybe
go
you
to
don't
YouTube and
need it,
check.
but it's in there. I copied and pasted it from them.
I see it. I don't know. You can
But
go to
so
YouTube.
yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt, but see, I would. Here's what I would recommend: you buy a really cheap domain like OTC, OTC.net or OTC.tv for $10 a year or $15 a year, whatever it is, and have it point to that.
Well, my webpage. I do have a webpage,
Ah,
and that webpage is anti-disestablishmentarianism off the. No, it's it's off the cuff of Craig Mitchell. That's what that's
dot
that's
com, dot net.
.com.
Okay.
It's off the cuff with CraigMitchell.com, and it's currently running my debut episode that I'm going to be debuting on July 2nd on this Saturday.
Well, if it's
So
currently running it, you already debuted it.
well, only for people who know, only for people who know that it's on the website. Otherwise, I didn't publicize that. It's kind of like a sneak peek.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
I've been on a streaming network. I was on yours, which I'm still extremely grateful that you had me on. But back then, it was a 12-minute show. I moved to another streaming network that did not fare so well, but for about 6 months, my show was airing every Thursday at 7:30, like on a network TV, and it was awesome. But they pushed me to go to half-hour shows. I didn't think I was capable of that, but now it's a half hour long. I've added segments, and I'm extremely proud of the show right now. I think it's way beyond what I ever thought it could be at this point, and I think it's a lot of fun.
Well, good for you. Now, I would have said to him, you know what? You want me to go to half hour? You're gonna help me get more people, more, pay for some extra staff. That's extra work for you. No.
It is. And it's pretty much a one man operation. Although I do have plenty of actors, such as yourself, actors and performers who volunteered their time, and I mean, some talented people have come on and played goofy characters and stuff like that. And it really, I can't tell you how much I treasure that. I love the food. I love showing low carb eating, cooking, and all that. But man, the comedy, that's really the core of my soul. I have to be funny, or it's a no go for me.
All right, give me because I haven't seen a half hour yet. but they were fine at 15 minutes in my view. What did you add that in 15 extra minutes? Because the rest you were pretty succinct with the recipes. Now,
Yeah.
did you add more comedy?
Yeah, the comedy bits now, instead of running a minute 30 or 2 minutes, might run maybe 3.5 minutes, and they're paced quickly, so it doesn't like drag. And I added the second part of the dish, like in the episode that's debuting Saturday. I make sugar-free cookies and cream ice cream, and that's the first part. And then the second part, I make sugar-free chocolate syrup. But in between, I came up with an idea for something called Food Facts. And basically in that segment, I talk about the history of the food or foods we're preparing on the show. And of course, there's comedy involved in that too sometimes. Well, a lot of the times as well. So, and that's, people have told me that's their favorite part of the show. What's disappointing, my producer even said that. And so I had to fire him. But it's okay. He said it's his favorite part of the show. He loves, it's kind of like if you watch the History Channel has a show called Foods That Made Him,
don't plug them. Just say
sorry.
the History Channel has a show. Don't give the name out.
Has a show that basically shows you how food came to be, and that's kind of what some channel has it. I don't know.
Yeah,
mine is the best. That's funny.
It's probably what's the Mets channel? Sports. I don't know.
SMY.
That's one.
Yeah, well, basically, in Food Facts, I do tell real facts about the food, but I also have cutaways like Family Guy, where all of a sudden they'll just go bloop, it'll just be a silly scene. So I have a blast with all this stuff.
I like that. I like that. Now, are you doing it in like seasons, 13 episode seasons, or what are you doing?
I'm doing it in 22 episode seasons because I have OCD, and that's what TV does. So I'm going to do that too.
I thought TV did 13-week seasons.
Yeah, actually, old TV used to do that. Now it can be 8, it can be 13, it can be 4, whatever the hell they put out there.
And that's probably how long it's been since I've had TV. I don't have cable, so I wouldn't know these things. But
it's true. It's like Star Trek: Strange New Worlds, which is like a fantastic show, only has 10 episodes.
Wow,
that's it. The original Star Trek, I think, had almost 30.
Right.
So, but it's like each episode's like a friggin' film. But anyway, I do 22. And also I have a it's now called the Off the Cuff Network on Spotify and also on YouTube. And Hear Now the News with Jerry Barmash is part of the network.
Oh, cool.
I know you're familiar with Jerry.
Yeah, I am. I haven't heard from him in a while. I know I follow him, but I just don't see him on social media at all. His stuff doesn't pop up for me.
He's doing he posts all the time about his show, but his show is going to debut on my network. We're going to alternate weeks. I'm going to do a show every 2 weeks. So I debut on July 2nd. His show debuts on July 9th, and we're going to alternate. So there's always going to be new show every week on the network.
That's a little weird, no?
What, food and news?
Yeah, going back and forth between, people don't know if their schedule is off. Hey, I'm going to see the food show this week. Oh, wait, this is the news guy. I'm not into news.
Well, the good thing about Spotify is the episode's going to be, my episode's still going to be there. It's just that his will be the newest show. So you can watch both.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and the same with YouTube. All the episodes are going to be there. And
why? No, I don't care. I mean, but
why?
Why the partnership there between
Jerry Barmash saved my life in the war, and I owe it to him.
I think it's really about saving a couple of bucks, isn't it?
No, there's no money.
No production costs.
Here's the thing: Jerry and I were part of a YouTube network for a while. Well, actually, I didn't even debut on it, but I'm not going to say the name of it. And the Big Bad Broadcast was
the history YouTube.
It was a History Channel. I might as well say it. Let's just be honest. No, it was not. It was a YouTube channel, and we had massive disagreement. A big drama exploded. I can't get any more specific than drama exploded. I decided not to be a part of it, and then Jerry got kicked out of it because he's my friend. And he's known me long.
They kicked him out because he was your friend? Is that what you said?
Because they kept trying to turn him against me. You got to understand, Craig's out of his mind. He goes, he's like, I've known Craig longer than you've been alive. It's a young,
What
and so yeah, it was effed up, man. I can't say anything more about it. But so I said, Jerry, I'm going to start a network. I'll get you on it, and we'll promote your show, and we'll just be food and news. And we just said, okay. No, I think it's a good. I mean, he's got a great show. He's had Anthony Fauci. He's interviewed Anthony Fauci, Anthony Scaramucci, celebrities. He's always. It's always super interesting.
I tried to get Scaramucci. But I haven't been able to get any response out of him. I don't think I'd be interested in talking to Fauci ever.
Yeah.
That's good for him. I'm glad he's doing well with it.
Yeah, and there's a possibility that down the road the BBB may join another network I'm forming, but we'll see where that goes. But I'm trying to become like the new Rupert Murdoch. No, I'm not at all.
With diabetes too, how big a segment of the population is that? How many?
It's getting bigger every day. It's one of the biggest. It's. I think I just saw yesterday on TV that over 1/3 of the U.S. population is pre-diabetic. Yeah, and that's just me. And no, it is not to make light of it. It's true.
Right, but now, do most people deal with it by modifying their diet, or do they just pump insulin and drugs and deal with it that way?
Sadly, Matt, when I see these commercials on TV, and I'll also talk about how I started all this, but I see these commercials where they talk about getting your A1C under 7. But the goal should be to get it under 6. My A1C in 2020 was 5.6, and that was with no medication, and that's almost no trace of diabetes because of the eating habits. And that's where you should go to. If you have a 6.8, you're still you're not doing massive damage to your body, but you're not in a good place. Right. I don't understand, but all the advertisements seem to say if you're under 7, and I think that's because I know a lot of people who take medication and eat whatever the hell they want, and they go, I don't understand it. My blood sugar's high. You're eating all the things that are wrong for you. I mean, the medicine can only, like metformin and things, it only help your body produce more insulin. But if you're eating more than your body can handle, your insulin resistance is going to raise your blood sugar and make you fatter.
Right. But I get that. But the question really is, how many people are actually doing that? Like, how many? It's a market research question. How much interest is there for people who are actually going to cook their own specialty foods, rather than people who are just looking to take a pill or a shot or whatever?
It's a great question, and I think it has to be kind of a hybrid, because there are some people who I see begging on Facebook groups. I need a cookie for my husband. He's type 2, his blood sugar real high. He needs a cookie he can eat, and I can just flip them a recipe, going, "This recipe is good. Yeah, go ahead, do it." If if you want to buy it at a store, you can, but it's going to be really expensive, and a lot of them really aren't good.
Yeah. I had a lady on, Janice Presser, who cooks for, I think her, I don't know, life partner or whoever Danny, who's the author. I don't know if she's married to him or not, but she cooks for him. He's got a situation, and every time I like talking about getting fat and stuff, she offers recipes and stuff like that. But not everybody has somebody to cook for them, and not everybody is a cook. And I can watch your show, but that doesn't mean I'm going to be able to cook.
It's true. Well, my show is, and I say this in my Bible, I say that I'm not a cook either. I'm not a chef. But what I do
you're wearing a chef's shirt. You tell me you're lying. You're a phony.
It's only for cleanliness. I want to keep it off. I'm a phony.
You don't come here wearing a chef's shirt and then tell people you're not a chef.
I'm not a trained chef. Let's put it that way.
I don't have a mustache.
Yes, you do. I see it.
It's a phony.
I know. No, but see, I don't. But no, but the thing is, I basically say I'm not a trained chef, and I'm trying to show you these low carb recipes that anybody can master. Because if I can do it, you can do it.
I can't.
And that's basically the idea.
I can't do it. It's not like I'm the guy anyway, because I wouldn't care. I just as soon eat what I like to eat and drop dead than be healthy. That's just
Unfortunately,
me.
yeah. Mm. With diabetes, you might not drop dead. You might go a piece at a time. That's a scary part of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go a piece of. I've been going a piece at a time for the last 40 years. I seriously have. I mean, I got a bad attitude about things. I know this, and I'm not trying to turn people off your show at all. I'm just saying, for me,
No, I'll do
I'm
that.
just, yeah.
I got that handle.
Okay, good. Hey, I think I have a ghost here. Something just moved on its own.
Uh-oh.
Um, I
No,
don't know. I'm just a pessimist about my own
oh,
situation, and there was an earthquake in South Carolina today about an hour ago, and I was sorry it didn't get me. I'm 1,000 miles away, but
you're sorry it didn't get you.
yeah. I just like waiting for the asteroid to just fucking take me out.
It's coming, man.
I know.
It's coming. I mean, sorry, things are just getting so weird. I mean, I've been alive for 62 years, Matt. 68 things are just going crazy. I don't know why I did the old man voice. Maybe
I
because
know.
every time you say 62, I do it. No, but the thing is, there's a lot of people who are interested in keto, and a lot of my recipes are keto friendly. So that's
All right. Now tell me about that, because I hear about it. I don't know anything about it. What is it? Is that?
Well, keto was the Green Hornet's sidekick, and what? No, I'm sorry, that's keto.
Keto.
Keto is when you eat less than 20 grams of carbs per day. You go into what's called ketosis, keto. And when you go into ketosis, your body burns fat for energy because you're not giving it really any carbs. You're just basically going high protein. There's also modified keto, and there's low carb. There's all different types. People who are keto they believe in straight carbs. They don't believe in net carbs. I eat probably between 40 and 60 net carbs a day, and that's considered low carb for me.
Okay, now this keto thing, is that just for people who are overweight, or is it people who have diabetes too,
It's for anybody. It's anybody who's overweight, somebody who's helps with diabetes, and somebody who just wants to stay trim. It's kind of good for all. And there's some controversy. They say that when you raise ketones, it can be damaging to your kidneys, but they haven't proven that. A lot of doctors think it's harmful. A lot of doctors say it's fantastic. It all started with Dr. Atkins' The Diet Revolution back in the 70s, that book. That's basically what it was. It was the beginning of keto.
I have a whole theory about this whole obesity thing, because Travis, what the hell's Travis's last name? Lipsky. He was on the morning program a couple of days ago. But before I got kicked off Twitter, before I got put in Twitter jail, he was telling me he showed me some dumb meme that he found with 4 really fat guys in the ocean, and then that was at 2022, and then to the side of that was 1970, and there were like 100 really thin people. And I was like, no, I know obesity has increased since 1970, but I think that's way too much of an exaggeration, because I was around in the 70s, and we had we had skinny people, we had fat people, we had but I remember as many fat people in the 70s as I do now, and I think they changed the way we measure obesity, because right now in today's world, I think I would be labeled as obese, where in 1970 I don't think I would be labeled as obese, and I think it's to your point, we're talking about Atkins. I think it's about all the corporations that are making money off of diets and diet pills and gyms and whatever, every fitness thing. So they lowered the way we measure obesity. Everybody feels like they have to get fit, lose weight, all that kind of stuff. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. Weight loss, health foods, diet pills, vitamins, gyms, all of that combined. Your take on what?
It's a very valid point. The one thing I would point out, though, and this is something that came to light with me, like when I first started this, I dropped 100 pounds very quickly, and I stopped sugar, and I stopped most of the carbs, and in my opinion, soft drinks, sugary, candy, chocolates, putting sugar in everything is one of the reasons why we have type 2 diabetes. Not necessarily obesity, because I know a lot of people who aren't obese are going type 2. I'm like, why am I type 2? It's because you're pounding your body with sugar and causing insulin resistance. Now, for me, and I can't explain this except I have to go through some tests with the doctors. I rarely go over 2,000 calories a day and rarely over 1,600. And I haven't lost a pound in 8 months. And it's getting very discouraging because I want to be, I'm still heavy. I'm not as heavy as I was, thank God, but my weight loss has stalled, and my doctor said your body thinks this is a set point. It might be your thyroid. Diabetes can do that to your thyroid. All this stuff, so it's pretty complicated.
Right now, when you gave up sugar, if the doctor told me tomorrow if I keep eating sugar, I'm going to drop dead in a week, I would still keep eating sugar because I tried to quit, but a half hour later I would be on sugar. I have no willpower for it, no strength at all to get off sugar. How did you get off sugar? Because again, if the doctor told me it was going to kill me, I'd still do it.
I've stopped drinking. I've stopped smoking. I've stopped opiates. Stopping sugar is tough. There is a withdrawal, and you do crave it. And what you have to do is you have to increase your lean protein, which is what I did. And after about, I would say,
protein?
Lean protein.
Oh, lean protein.
Lean. And after about 3 weeks, I stopped craving sugar. And to this day, I don't, unless I eat sugar, which happens occasionally. Halloween comes around, and you go to the movies. There's an M&M thing there. I don't do it 1,000% of the time, but sometimes you cheat. And that can kind of reawaken the monster that wants sugar, and you have to fight it a little bit again.
Now, what you're doing with like no sugar ice cream, isn't that to me that'd be like smoking? If I was trying to give up a cigarette, smoking a non-nicotine cigarette, like all that's going to make me want to do is have a real cigarette. No.
Well, you know what? I agree with you. If it's terrible, yeah, absolutely, you're going to want to go out and get some Ben and Jerry's or whatever, but. The ice cream that I made and make is so unbelievably good that at the end of my episode this week, the actor Dave B. Park, who played Mr. Jingles, the ice cream man, you can't make that up. Actually, I did make that up. He comes in the ending credits. He's eating the ice cream, and we have some comedy. But recently he said to me, when I ate that ice cream, I could not believe that was sugar free. He said it was absolutely the best ice cream, and he said it was indistinguishable. And if you can get it to that level, then you're not going to care you're not going to go out and crave sugar. You're getting
it was cookies and cream.
Yep. Yeah, I got some.
What about fruit? I mean, like
I haven't had a piece of fruit in 5 years.
Why is that bad for you?
Well, I don't know how to count it, and I that may be a little bit of an exaggeration. I think I've had Granny Smith apples.
See, but for ice cream now, sugar-free cookies and cream. I mean, cookies. I think sugar, but
there's cookies on the market that I found, and that are they're more expensive than Oreos. Oops, shouldn't say that. Oh, cream cookies, and that's what they are. They're for 16 cookies, it's $10. It's a lot of money.
And when it comes to ice cream, I would definitely want something more. If it can't have like real dark, rich chocolate,
you wouldn't know the difference. Absolutely not. It's one of my favorite treats. I make ice cream. It usually lasts a week. I'm like, is it worth $10 a week?
All right.
Yeah.
Here's what you do: you put some in an envelope and send it to me in New York, and when it gets here, I'll check it out and let you know.
In an envelope?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll make sure it's padded.
Mail it to me. 46 Valentine Road, Shoreham, New York. Matt Media, Matt and Apple, care of Matt Media, 46 Valentine Road, Shoreham, New York.
I wonder if I can send it with dry ice. I wonder if it would get there and still be frozen.
You know what? There's a candy place that does that. They sent me old time candy or something. I was ordering something from the 60s. I think it was Turkish taffy or something. But I ordered it in the summer, and they sent it packed in dry ice. So it wouldn't.
Really?
Yeah.
The Turkish taffy used to stick to my teeth. I used to hate it.
I know, but
bottom of Turkish taffy.
Right, but I loved their banana and vanilla stuff.
I used to get the banana. My mom,
yeah. But no, ice cream I would be big on, but
So
and
good.
I it's one of my it's one of my childhood like addictions that I never gave up. And I know it's bad for me, but I still have to have it every once in a while. I crave it. But if I could eat a healthier ice cream and not tell the difference, I probably
Well,
would. But
here's the
okay,
caveat. Here's the
yeah.
caveat. The ingredients in this ice cream is heavy cream, half and half, erythritol, or it's sold under the name of Swerve,
Wait,
vanilla
what is it?
erythritol.
It sounds like
I know what it sounds like.
all right, good.
It comes from the urethras of moose in the wild, and no, it's basically a form of alcohol called it's basically
Tall
sugar
women.
alcohol.
Yes.
Sugar alcohol. The thing is, and it tastes very sweet, and it measures exactly like sugar. Here's the thing, though: when you ingest it, your body doesn't process it, so it doesn't affect your blood sugar at all. But you get the full sweet taste, no aftertaste. The thing is so it's you're not really involving your glycemic index, but there's a lot of calories in heavy cream and the half and half, and of course even
Uh,
even the
you've
low
used
sugar.
up your big word quoted. I don't want to hear one more big word out of you the rest of this
No more
conversation.
big words.
Well, you kind of overdid it here a little bit.
I'm sorry. Meat talk small now.
It's driving up my insulin from just
I
hearing
didn't know. I don't even know what I do. What was it? Erythritol? Okay.
erythritol, glycine, and whatever the hell you're
Glycemic
saying.
index. Yeah. Sorry.
We have to keep it dumb for the audience, not for me. I
Yeah.
understand all these words. It's not me.
Meat and dump.
It's the audience.
Yeah.
But erythritol sounds like just
I know.
sounds like you got it from a tall woman.
And I'm
Your,
wa- and I'm wondering if I'm
urethra.
saying it wrong, but I don't know. I think it's pretty pronounced.
Okay, now that would be even worse. You're
I
using
know.
up your big word quota and not even pronouncing them correctly.
That would be me. That's very typical. But
Well, we could probably bump it up a little bit just for this show, the big word quota. But
no.
we don't want to
It,
get carried away.
so the thing is, the one thing, and I say it in my show is, yeah, this is not going to affect your blood sugar, but there's calories in this, yo. So monitor that. You can't just eat the whole. Because I make a quart and a half at a time. If you can't eat all that. That's like 4,000 or 5,000 calories if you eat all. I just eat enough to satisfy myself, and I put it back in the freezer. That's you have to be careful.
Right.
But
So,
ice cream is.
so your prime target audience for this is it do they have to be diabetics or no? It's anybody, right?
Anybody who wants to learn how to there is healthy cooking involved. I use air fryers a lot. I used to use them primarily, but now I use them now and then. um, and the emphasis is on using it's not going to be high in saturated fat. It's going to be lower in calories a little bit sometimes, or a lot, and definitely low carb. um, and I find there's a lot of people interested in this. A lot of younger people are interested in it too. I find so. My audience kind of spans a whole bunch of demographics. I'm sorry.
That's bad though. Well, bad for business. This is what I'm finding out, and I'm not saying this to be like a smart ass but with my sponsorship and every business I approach, they want a really narrow demographic. They want to know that uh, rather than have 100,000 listeners that are all over the map, they'd rather you have 1,000 passionate about one thing listeners who that they can pin down. It's all males between 25 and 27 or something crazy like that. They want a really narrow audience because those are the people who are most likely to take action. And so in this business, in the podcasting or uh, digital media, it's better to have a smaller, passionate, and really narrow audience than it is to have the widest net possible and be bringing. And this is my challenge. This is what I'm finding out constantly.
Well, to tell you the truth, when I look at the analytics of my episodes, the majority is over 40, but it does span even younger.
Yeah.
But the majority, I would say, is over 40, pre-diabetic, overweight,
Well,
That
even before I was, you came on tonight, I was thinking about for my show, my morning show, really, how can I get a better handle on narrowing down specifically, not the audience I want to have, the audience I do have, who are the most likely to actually take action for what type of products in order to kind of monetize it. And it's a big thing that's been weighing on my mind because with the wide nets that I have been casting, I'm just not really satisfied in the business end of it. And I'm to the point where I want to have a conversation about bringing on a business manager, cutting them in on the business, but they'll handle, because I'm not a business person. It's not what I love doing, and I hate doing this kind of analytics and finding out specifically and how to, and all the research, market research that has to go into it, and then the pitching and all that stuff. So that's the thing that's been on my mind a lot. So even before this conversation, I'm just sharing with you what I'm finding.
no, it's something that I've been dealing ever since the streaming network that I was a part of uh, discontinued. I've been trying to figure out the next step. Where do I go? I mean, I even could see, like you said, you're very nice in saying I'm persistent, but part of you was like, maybe I should just shut it down. I've been, I have 104 episodes produced, and I'm like, I mean, I've been doing this a long time, but I really love doing it. So when I decide to keep on doing it, the next thing I've realized, okay, if I'm going to do it, let's, treat it like a business, exactly what you're saying. And it's really hard to do that because there's so many things that have to be accounted for. It's
Right.
not just demographics. It's like, it's a lot to handle. Plus, you're producing the show at the same time.
Right. Yeah, no, nobody sees all that work that you got.
Yeah, it's not it's more the only thing not being on the streaming network that I didn't run is now I have the freedom to do whatever the hell I want. That's good.
Why
But I
did
did,
they tell you? Did they ever once say to you, "Craig, don't do this, don't do that"? Oh yeah, like what?
yeah, they criticize my kitchen. They go, your kitchen looks like shit.
Buy me a new
You
one.
know, huh? Yeah,
Buy
well,
me a
I
new
did
one.
say that. No, what they said is, well, they said most of our talent actually rent out Airbnbs to shoot their episodes. I'm like, okay, give
Yeah,
me the money to do that, and I'd be happy to do that.
yeah,
And
yeah.
but the thing is, I made my kitchen a character. I call it the world's smallest and oldest kitchen. I call it that. And even on my promotional material, it says, does this look like a professional kitchen? No, and your viewers don't have one either. Because like I said, it's supposed to be food anybody can do. So yeah, they did that. Also, I did a promo. It's one of my favorite promos where I'm like, welcome to my show, and I'm standing in this beautiful kitchen. I mean, super modern.
Oh
I
yeah,
go,
yeah.
welcome to my,
You
and
green screened it,
it
right?
stands out and it's a green screen. And
Yeah.
then I walk into my kitchen. They said, Craig, that's too depressing. It's too depressing to walk into your kitchen. I'm like, what do you mean? It's a joke. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm of the because I don't agree with them. I think if the content is good, the set really isn't that important, especially for a cooking show. I mean, but
Yeah, and I
I
use angles, overhead shots. I use all that stuff. And they only gave me one thing that which is true. They used to hate because I used to cook with a little cutting board over one of my sinks, and I would put my dirty dishes on the left side of the sink, and that kind of looked gross. So I had to get a whole new top so that doesn't even show anymore. I did like that note. That note's good.
yeah, yeah, no,
But the thing is, my whole show is about fun and poking fun. If something goes wrong, play it. Especially if I screw up the food, I'll play it. If I make a mistake, I'll point it out. You
have you
know,
seen Henry's Kitchen? Henry
Henry,
Phillips.
no.
Oh, you gotta watch some episodes of Henry's Kitchen. Henry's one of the funniest guys on the fucking planet. But his cooking segments, he does at Henry's Kitchen, which is, you could tell it's like his production values are using Final Cut templates, the stuff that came with the original Final Cut Pro kind of thing. But the content is intentionally fucking up good
Oh,
dishes
really?
and making the food look like it. Yeah, I wouldn't eat that on my work if I was starving. Just got off a desert island and hadn't eaten in 6 years. I wouldn't eat that. Uh, but he's cracking jokes during the whole time, and it's very dry way of doing it. And it's
Yeah.
just like what not to do in cooking. but it's really fun.
I will check that out. I don't like to watch shows that are close to what I do because I don't want to
He's not
emulate.
close to what you do.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah,
the antithepith.
although I've seen people copy from me, and I'm kind of flattered but kind of pissed. It's kind of like the Amy Schumer syndrome. I have a friend of mine did a really nice cartoon logo for me, and I make it as a bug in the lower I guess right side of the screen. And all of a sudden, this guy gets a cartoon thing of him, puts him lower. I'm like, okay, all right, okay. And we both concentrate on low carb stuff. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to watch him anymore. It was irritating me. Yeah.
Who would you figure artists being not all that supportive of each other's platforms?
Well, I'm not unsupportive. I'm like, okay, you obviously saw what I was doing and you did that. It would have been nice if you reached out and said, hey, look what I've had several people.
Not possible that it was what do they call it in comedy with joke theft?
Consecutive thought or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Not
possible.
No. I mean, his logo even looks like mine. I'm like, come on. What the hell
so does Hack Oddities, but I know he's not copying off of you because I know him. He wasn't even aware of you when he had that. He's got a little cartoon.
Yeah, I copied off him. So that's how it works.
You weren't even aware of him at that point, so no.
I'm not even aware of myself at this point, Matt.
Yeah, I know.
No, but the thing is, what I love about this, it's just me being me, and what it is this is if you ever want to see the heart of me as a performer, this is it. This is everything I am. I mean, without the curse words, because I do it family friendly. I don't know why I chose to do that, but I have, and I don't. The worst thing I'll do is I'll curse and I'll bleep it out, like the Goldbergs. I know you don't watch them because you don't have TV, but it's a very funny TV show.
Yeah,
that's it. I'm clean. On the podcast, I'm potty mouth, and I've been accused of talking about graphic sex, and I still am trying to figure that one out. So,
graphic sex
too graphic
when you draw it. Is that what graphic sex is?
You know what it is, Matt? When you're a gay guy and you mention sex to other straight guys, like, oh, whoa, too graphic. I said, we were necking. Oh, no, it was one of those things. And to them, that's graphic. I'm like, yeah, that's not graphic. You want to hear graphic? Oh, no.
No, I don't want to hear graphic.
No, I would never say
not hetero, not homo, not.
No, I would never do graphic, but I get accused of it.
I hear enough of it. I hear all of it. It's all people.
How do you hear enough of it? What do you got that porn channel on in the background? What?
No, people want to talk about that.
Oh, intimate? No, I mean, no.
Morning show all the time. I mean, I hear and from women, I hear it more than I actually guys who talk about it. I mean, I don't need all the details.
No, if I say we dated last night and we got intimate. It's like, come on, that's not graphic. That's like, I mean, Alice could say that on the Brady Bunch and they'd be okay with it. It's
no,
anyway.
Like graphic for me is like a couple of. Well, it was last week. We had a comedian Budsy on, and Kiera she did not respond well to him. She didn't like him at all, and she said, "I feel like I need to shove a bidet up my ass and squirt it out my mouth." That's good.
Not what I'm drinking, man.
That's what I mean about graphic.
Vodka up the nose. Up the nose. Not good.
I don't need to.
Yeah, no, neither do I. I hate that stuff. But you know what? My straight friends do it all the time, and I don't say anything. Yeah. Mainly because I'm getting off on it. But seriously, no. I mean, yeah, I agree with you. I do. And I actually had a friend I went out to lunch with, who I shared. The one of the reasons why we even hooked up is because I first noticed him in a commercial, and I thought he was attractive. That's all I said. And then when we're having lunch, like months later, he goes, you really, you were so graphic with how we met. It really made me feel uncomfortable. Huh? Graphic? I wasn't graphic at all. So I think there's different rules of engagement. I think I'm not aware of that I have to get used to.
I got to think about that because hetero guys don't like to be told they're attractive.
I know. What's with that? You know what I think it is? Here's what I really think it is. A heterosexual guy, if a gay man says, "Oh, I think you're very handsome," he's going to think he appears gay.
Now,
That's what they think.
for me, it's like, why is it always old ladies and gay guys that think I'm hot? Why can't it be hot young women? But but that
Odds
it's not like I'm threatened by it. It's just like why? It's like
odds are they do, but they're not as forward.
no
My
women.
mom gave me a big education of being an old lady. When she got to be about 70, she said, "You know what? I'm 70. I can say whatever the f I want," and she did. So older people get a pass because they'll say whatever they want. 'Cause there's no repercussions for them.
Right.
Gay guys, a lot of gay guys I know have balls of steel, and sometimes I'm surprised they don't get beat up. But I'm not saying that to be funny.
No, I agree. I mean, I know a lot of them who push things too far, and I'm surprised a lot
Right,
of people get beat up a lot.
right.
You know, but
That's
and
not
that
me. By a long shot.
well, that's a male thing because a male to a woman can be that pushy, but not you're generally not afraid they're going to get beat up for it. Or
Right,
there's no threat of getting beat up. If I hit on a woman constantly, or she can be annoyed, she might ask her brother or
right.
boyfriend or somebody to beat me up. But I'm not worried she's going to beat me up.
My ex had this saying, which I think is hysterical, but it's really how he felt. Because my friend, I had a friend staying with him, straight friend, was staying with him in his house, and my ex mentioned how he thought he was appealing. And I said, "Yeah, I wouldn't cross that line with him. I don't think it's a good idea." You know, and he goes, and this is exactly what he said. He went, "Well, even spaghetti is straight until it gets hot." I go, "Yeah, and your nose is straight right now, and you want to leave it that way, right?"
Oh
Seriously.
well. Speaking of your straight friends, the dudes on now. Do you have a woman on Big Bad?
Jan
Is
Karam.
that Big Bad broadcast? Is that it?
Yeah, we have Jan Karam, who's still a touring comedian, and she's one of our regulars, and she's actually I think she's not going to be on our show tomorrow because she's off. I think she's in Ohio doing gigs.
What's her name?
Jan Karam,
Jan Karam.
Karam.
And she's a road dog. I mean,
Yeah, definitely she's a road warrior, and she's very funny. I mean, she's also an actress. She's been on Seinfeld. She's been on Curb Your Enthusiasm. Yeah, she's got some
so
youth
tell her to
there.
be on my morning show. No, don't ask her. Tell her. Tell her. Listen, you have to do it. There's no questions about it. And I'm just not telling. I'm not asking you if you will. I'm asking when you're going to be on. So just
What
tell her
time does your morning show start?
it's
So
9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern. But
so
they don't
she.
have to be there at the start. They could be there at 10 a.m.
Oh, okay.
or
All right.
10:30 a.m. if it's necessary.
All right. I'll tell her that yeah, definitely. And yeah, she's very, very funny. She has a one woman show. I mean, we had her on as a guest, and the chemistry was just so organic. We asked her if she wanted to be a regular cast member, and she said, "Yeah."
Now, are you still having guests on while so you have 5 co-hosts and you're still having guests on? Yes. So
Yeah,
six,
we are like yeah.
six people sitting in this
We had Patty Rossborough on last week, and she's one of my favorite comics of all time, and it was so cool to have her on. We've had actors. We had Bill Smitrovich. We had Daniel Roebuck. Dan's playing actually Grandpa Munster in the new
I thought
Munster.
Ted Cruz was doing that. Maybe.
Ted Cruz actually looks more like Al Lewis. You're right,
Yeah. Yeah.
but he can't act. But Dan can.
He's
Dan
been acting quite a bit.
Who?
Ted Cruz. He's been acting.
Yeah,
a lot.
acting like an asshole. But anyway, I'm sorry, I didn't
exactly.
even get to
Exactly.
but I did. Yeah, but yeah, so yeah, so we do occasionally, but now when we get somebody who's like what we prefer to do now, because Jan's not going to be here tomorrow, and And actually, Joe, who is Joe Silky, is off on assignment. So we have somebody who's a guest, and they just jump in and they become part of the group for the day.
I like that. Off on assignment. What did you assign him to do?
He's actually a very highly in demand graphic.
I know.
artist.
Yeah, I know he is. But that's choosing to do something on his own. That's not.
Yeah, that means he's busy. Yeah, it just
We
means he's
assigned you something.
we assigned
you're
you
off
to be
on
busy. No, Joe doesn't say much on the show, but when he does, it's friggin' hilarious. That's all I'm gonna say.
Now, is he still on Long Island? He's a Long Islander, right?
Yes, he is. He's in Nassau County.
Wow.
I can get more specific, but his fans would flock to his house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
Well, he might like that, but no, I'm not going to do that.
All right.
Yeah, we're all over the place.
Yeah. So what else is there to talk about? We got 10 minutes.
Well,
what else are we talking about?
You want to talk about the Mets, or do you rather not?
Well, I think we said all it.
Have we covered it?
I mean, basically, what's going to happen, and I am serious about this, that by 4th of July they're going to be out of first place, and then the reality will set in. I do think the Atlanta Braves are going to win the East, and I think at the end of the season, Met fans are going to be like, oh, fuck that, I'm never watching them again. And then next spring, they're going to have a hot start, and everybody's going to be sure they're going to win the World Series, and I'm going to have to say it all over again.
Well, I would agree with you, except I don't. And here's the thing you're not factoring in. And
I'm factoring in. You're talking about the pitchers coming back. They're not coming back. They're both going to die in the next 2 days or something, or their arms are going to fall off, or they're going to get ass cancer or something. But they're never coming. Jacob deGrom.
Are you wishing ass cancer on Max Scherzer?
No, I'm not wishing it. I'm just saying they are doomed. They are cursed. They intentionally make people weak with this pitch count nonsense. That don't get me started on that.
That's not the Mets' fault. That's Major League Baseball.
But the Mets are hyperactive with it. Like
they're not the only one.
89 pitches last night, right? And
today, 93 pitches, and he's out in the 8th inning. Yeah. No, but here's the thing. I want to tell you the thing.
Tell me the thing.
Here's the thing. The 2022 Mets are not the 2021 Mets. All right, they're not. They're not. They're a much better offensive team. Now, they haven't had DeGrom the whole year. They haven't had Scherzer for 2/3 of the year. And right now they're 47-29, and they still have the best record in baseball. Now you're telling me that when
Scherzer not baseball, back, the Yankees have the best.
I'm sorry, National League. Yeah. When Scherzer comes back, and he's about to come back in 5 days, and I'll give you the caveat that DeGrom has a further distance, but let's just say they both come back. If you got DeGrom and Scherzer on top there, I'm sorry, dude. I mean, yeah, the Braves are a good team, and you know what? The Mets, if the Braves win today, the Mets lead is going to be 3. And yeah, they could be out of first if they completely collapse over the next couple of days, they could be out of first. But
no, I'm predicting they will be.
You want to put money on that?
I don't have any money.
No, I was going to say call Vegas. I don't have any money either. But call a sportsbook. I have no idea. But
the real reason I don't want to put money on that is that then I'd have to root for it to happen because I'd want my money, and I don't want to root for it to happen.
I want my money. No, I you know what? I as far as being cursed, I can't. Look, I feel it. I remember 2007, 2008. It was 2 of the worst back-to-back years ever with those, last 2 weeks of the season collapses. I mean, I think the Mets had a 6-game lead in 2007, and they lost it in the last 8 games? Yeah. It leaves scars. So I understand. I feel the same way, but I'm optimistic and hopeful, and
that's what being a Met fan is. It's fooling yourself into thinking that to have hope, and then basically at the end of the season, you're kind of like, well, how could I ever? I'm never gonna again. And then spring training comes around, and you're right back there.
Yeah. Well, how can you? I mean, how people treat the Mets right now like they're the Detroit Tigers. They're not. They're a much better team than that.
I don't know. There's only this much is separating the Mets from the Detroit
Are you
Tigers.
kidding me?
Yeah.
You look at
I've always said that it's the best team in baseball to the worst team in baseball is really a
well, that's
sliver.
true. We have seen teams go from last place to the World Series in 1 year. We have seen that.
Yeah, and the truth of it, it's a lot of it is luck, a lot of it is breaks. I mean, you can
Right?
talk about talent all you want. Scheduling, and
injuries.
then ownership being willing. Like I know Cohen is different than Wilpon, but my brother brought this up. This guy he's got more money than God. He says he's not afraid to make some deals. He's got minor league players that are ripping and he's bringing up Dom Smith. Like what the fuck? I mean, give this guy up. He's a good minor league player. He can be a minor league all-star for the rest of his life.
I'll tell you what. You say the Mets are going to be out of first base by July 4th.
That's Monday.
By the All-Star break, Dom Smith is going to be on another team. They're going to trade him for pitching. Guarantee it. Him or Davis. I think it would be stupid to trade Davis, but it's going to be
there
him.
are so many. My brother brought this up today about how many good players want off their teams, and like make them an offer. Make them an offer. Okay? Go get some pitching help because it's not just DeGrom and Scherzer. The other pitcher, what's his name, is also down.
Tyler McGill.
Yeah, McGill. So I mean, the three best pitchers are down, and the guy's not making a move to kind of do anything. It's just settling for we'll just put in the next.
So right now the Mets are holding on to first base with Tim. I can't think of his first name. With Bassett and Carrasco as their lead pitchers, and you have to throw in Walker today, who pitched fantastic. So I'm sorry, there's substance there and there's depth. It's just that they've scraped the bottom of the barrel so far already this year.
Yeah, but you say they're holding on to first place, but they had a 11-game lead not that long ago.
Well, you got to give the Braves some credits for winning 14 or 15 in a row.
I definitely do give the Braves some credit.
That's pretty.
Braves have never been cursed. They've never been cursed.
Well, they lost Freeman. That was pretty
they've had shitty years. They've had really shitty years. But when they look like a winner, they always come through. They never let their fans down, and they never break hearts in Atlanta the way the Jets or the Mets do in New York. They don't.
Why do you think the Mets are jinxed? What do you think? The 69 was this is the penance for 69?
No, I just say it's Queens, it's Flushing, it's the attitude, it's the fans who. That's why I'm so much always posting negative shit, because I think the fans jinx them with their and they have won in the World Series in April. You can't be full of yourself in April and think that you're serving the team. You have to always.
Don't you remember the '86 Mets? They put out a video. Let's go Mets! I mean, it's like I'm like, you guys haven't won anything yet. What are you doing with this video? But
that was the era because the Patriots and the Bears did it with
the Bears did
and then the Patriots, New England, and we. And so that's the same era, and so everybody was doing those stupid promotional videos of.
Yeah, I was waiting for another one to come out this year, the polar bear shuffle or something like that. the Lindor waltz, whatever they're gonna call it, but
Yeah, no, and if you've gone to a Met game, which I know you haven't because you're out in LA, but have you gone to a Dodger game?
I have.
Yeah, is it the same? Because Met games are not about baseball in any way. When you go there, it's all about nonsense going on between innings and food and buffets and all this kind of stuff.
Same at Dodger Stadium. Plus Dodger Stadium actively does the wave, and they have dozens of beach balls being hit around.
Yeah, that shit drives me crazy. Oh, let's follow, a kids racing on the field. Like that's duck game behavior when you have little kids from the stand running around the bases or something stupid like that. That's give me a duck game for that.
You mean like the Long Island Ducks, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Well, baseball is very very aware of people's attention spans being like this long.
I get
So
it.
they got to constantly be doing stuff to keep people's eyes on the field, or else
Yeah.
they're going to be in their phones. Or,
I'm
but
I'm not happy with any of it.
going.
I know I'm not the. They want to appeal to younger people, but this whole everything, the DH in the National League, the guy on second base when in extra innings, all of it, just stop
Yeah,
it.
I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of. I'm surprised how quickly I got used to the DH, but I'm not a fan of the runner on second base. I hated the 7 inning double headers. I'm glad they got rid of that. And then the big bases next year. Are they going to say Tonka on the side? What do you mean big bases? I don't know. It just feels they're going to have bigger
Wait,
bases.
I did not know that. Big,
Yeah,
they're gonna run it more. They just
bigger bases so they don't hurt the players.
now. What's your take on the cheating? The pitchers cheating. Are you hip to that whole the pitchers cheating stuff? The rotation on the
Yeah.
ball. They're using some kind of rougher or something to increase the rotation on the ball.
All they need is pine
In
tar.
huh?
All they need is pine tar.
I
That's
think
all
it
they
was.
need.
I think it was pine tar.
Some kind of sticky,
Right.
something that increases your grip, where you can get a higher rotation rate on the ball.
Right.
Uh,
Garrett Cole is the number one accused guy as far as what I see on YouTube. Anyway,
yeah.
You think he's definitely cheating?
No, I don't know if he's cheating anymore. And he might have been cheating. I don't have any evidence on that. Although I did notice there was a lot more injuries with players after that. You have to start using more force to make a
Who
ball.
was the guy on the Dodgers? The guy on the Dodgers who was the cheater. That it was also the wife beater, and now they got rid of him. And he's out of baseball now.
Yeah, you're Trevor Bauer.
Trevor Bauer, right?
Yeah, no,
he was definitely.
I think the fun, and now they used to make the players almost strip. The picture on to show they have nothing foreign. Now it's just they just run their hand. And that's they just it's like kind of like a little grease shake as they pass the umpire now. And I forget who it was. I was on the Mets. Somebody got racked for like 8 runs. And he's coming off the field, and the umpire reaches out his hand, and the pitcher looked up like, "You think I was cheating? I just got hit for 8. What the hell is wrong with you?"
Yeah.
I don't know. I think a professional ball player will do anything they can to get an edge. I really do. I mean, that doesn't involve putting stuff in your body. I think people who use steroids and stuff like that, I think they're a different level. But
yeah, and the Astros with their cheating thing in the World Series, again, it's not.
Well, that's what
a reflection of our society right now. But I'm not happy with all.
And, the Astros shouldn't have cheated because, as they're proving against the Yankees and against the Mets, they're a really good team. They don't need to cheat against anybody. Seriously, they beat up on the Yankees and they beat up on the Mets.
I know.
They're an impressive team, man.
Well, this Verlander guy, he's been around since I was still following baseball, and he's still good. Verlander, the pitcher.
Oh, Verlander, 39 years old.
Yeah, and he's still good. That's it's going to be a while before we see another Nolan Ryan, but it's good to see guys 39, 40 still.
Yeah, I mean, he's got 235 lifetime wins. That's not very common. I mean, he has a good shot at hitting 250, and I think that's going to be the new 300 pretty soon. Nobody else is close to Verlander, I don't think. I think even Kershaw only has like 140. It's not.
How many does Grom have? And he's 7.
He's got 7 lifetime wins because he's always getting no decisions.
I know, but he's already old. He's not because we've been waiting on this amazing season that is just one for the record books, and he's already 31 years old, right?
35.
No,
DeGrom is 30. He just had his 35th birthday.
Holy fuck! So he's done.
Well, here's the thing. 2 years ago, when he won, he had an ERA. What was the ERA? Like 1.6 something? I don't know. He was amazing. And he went. I think he went 11-10 because the Mets had no offense. Yeah. If he was healthy and pitched the way he pitched this year, he'd already have 13 wins, 14 wins.
What was he, like a 28-year-old rookie or something?
Excuse me. He came up in 2000 and 14.
All
And
right.
he was like 26. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's about right. He had Tommy John surgery also. That's what kept him out for a year. And he was
Right.
also a shortstop first. And they converted to be a pitcher.
Hmm.
And Scherzer is 37 going on 38.
Yeah. So they're done. They're done. These are
Well,
the guys.
they got Scherzer for what, 2 years? I don't know, 2 or 3.
Right.
He's a win now guy. Let's win now. That's what they're going for. They're trying to get the World Series this year or next year. That's what they want.
Hmm.
And they let Michael Conforto go, which I think was a good move. But
Why do you think that was a good move?
I think it's a good move, frankly, because
Don't they need another bat right now?
well, who would you rather have playing in your right field right now? Would you rather have Sterling Martin, or Martin, or would you rather have Michael Conforto? Conforto was one of the most inconsistent players the Mets ever had. He would have tremendous years, and then the next 2 years he could barely bat 220.
Right,
He
but
goes long
doesn't it? Don't they need help at DH?
No.
No.
Well, they have
Dom Smith.
I was going to say, I stopped myself if you noticed. Well, ideally going to this year, they thought that Dom Smith and J.D. Davis would be the platoon at DH. And I like J.D. Davis. I still think he's a good player. He just needs to play every day. Dom Smith, I think he's another head case, because sometimes, in 2020, he had MVP type numbers, and since then he's just been in the toilet. I don't know why. Maybe he's putting too much pressure on himself. I was in all these rooms, all these chat rooms during the off season, and people were calling for the Mets to trade Pete because Dom was the first baseman of the future.
Wow.
And I'm like, are you insane?
That does sound crazy.
I
So,
know.
DeGrom has what, 198 wins lifetime? Oh no, 77.
Yeah, he's not even 100.
77 and 53, and people are calling him the greatest of all. I've on Twitter every day somebody calls him the greatest of all time.
Well,
it's like a guy who has 77 wins cannot even be considered in the realm of like Sandy Koufax, Nolan Ryan, Tom Seaver. I can go on and on.
Well, because now they're looking at the analytics of pitching, and now they're saying that wins no longer have the weight that they used to have in figuring out a pitcher's value. I think it has. I think wins are very important to a pitcher's value, because the whole point about baseball is winning a game.
Right. He's got 295 wins. Nolan Ryan had what, 4,000? I mean, strikeouts.
Strikeouts.
Yeah.
I mean, Nolan Ryan had over 5,000 strikeouts.
5,000. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's is DeGrom one of the best pitchers the Mets have ever had? Yeah. But he,
that's a big statement even itself. If you look at
it is.
I mean, you got Seaver, Mickey Lolich, you have Oral Hershiser, you had Brett Saberhagen, you had David Cohn. You can go down the list. I mean, they've had some really amazing pitchers.
The only people I would not match DeGrom up with on the Mets lifetime roster is Doc Gooden his first 3 years, or Tom Seaver any year. I think he competes with every other
2 years. The third year, he really wasn't. It wasn't that
great. The third year was 86. He went 18 and
right, but you could also. He was already starting to. Yeah. 85 was his best year.
85 was 24-4, and in 84 he was 17-9.
Yeah,
but I would put DeGrom up against Gooden after 86, and I would put up. I wouldn't put him up against Seaver at all. And I think that's how dominant he has been. As far as his performance.
Rank him as better than Oral Hershiser? Not as a Met, but Oral Hershiser's complete career.
No.
Yeah.
Now, only because Earl Hershiser had something that he didn't have. First of all, he had a World Series MVP, and second of all, he had longevity, which right now that's one thing that DeGrom doesn't have. But that's not his fault, though.
Mikey says, has any Met pitcher been there for 5 years? Seaver was there for 5 years. Jerry Kuzma was there for more than 5 years.
Seaver was there from 67 to 75. Kuzma was there from 68 until 77.
How long was Cohen? I think Cohen was just about 5 years. Cohen
was there from 86 to like 92.
87
to 92, sorry.
Right, that is 5 years, though.
Yeah. And Leiter was there for about 5 years also.
I forgot. Yeah, I wouldn't put Leiter with those guys.
No,
man.
but Leiter was a solid performer for the Mets. He was good.
Yeah, yeah.
But is he? And that was
He
the
was
problem.
better with the Mets than he was with the Yankees.
Yeah, well, that's because he learned how to pitch. When he came with the Yankees, he was just a fireballer. He didn't know how to pitch, and then he hurt his arm, and then he learned how to pitch.
Yeah.
I remember the Mets. I remember the Yankees were comparing Leiter to Gooden when they came up. We have our fireballer too.
Right.
I remember.
Yeah. Just trying to think of other. I think he's right though. I mean, the number of Mets pitchers that have lasted 5 years.
Well,
Probably
Gooden's. DeGrom is 8, at least 8. Syndergaard was at least 5. He's having a decent year with the Angels, but it's not an elite. It's not an elite year. I don't feel bad.
How long was Harvey? 3
Harvey
years?
was 2013 to 2019.
That's 6 years.
Yeah, but
He wasn't good for all those, but I mean, yeah.
Harvey's the saddest of them all, man. He was unbelievable.
He's sadder than Gooden.
No.
No, Dwight Gooden is one of the most tragic cases in the history of sports. I think it's just how much potential he had to what he actually accomplished. It's pathetic.
Yeah, but there's also a caveat. Yes, he was involved in drugs and all that, but also,
Right. So was
Mel Stottlemyre and Davey Johnson were trying to adjust his delivery. They didn't want to burn him out because he was only 20 years old in 1985.
That's what I mean.
And they were trying to back him off of his fastball, and I think they effed up his delivery.
Right. Mets have had a history of fucking people up. that was my. They have. I mean, and that's my thing with this pitch count too. That's why I think all of DeGrom's troubles come from Mets management just babying him. Again, I go back to an era: Juan Marichal, Nolan Ryan, Tom Seaver, Steve Carlton. All these guys threw till their arms fell off, and they were better on 3 days rest after they pitched 115 innings.
I think it was Tom Seaver pitched a 10-inning shutout in the World Series, and he threw like 175 pitches.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but that era is gone now. I mean,
I think he pitched 16 innings against Juan Marichal once too.
If you look at the complete games, I would say that I'll take a random guess. I'll say 1968 when he had his best year. Bob Gibson had more complete games in 1968 than were probably in the major leagues the past 3 years combined.
Yeah. No, definitely. That's my point. I think the pitch count makes pitchers fragile. I think it's like any other muscle. And I know the kind of strain your arm goes through in pitching. But Nolan Ryan is definitely proof that the harder you do it, for the longer you do it, the stronger you become, and the less you break down. He almost never was injured. Never.
Unfortunately, with Nolan Ryan, there's the ongoing thoughts and rumblings that he was actually one of the first people to use steroids for recovery. Not to bulk up, but for recovery in between starts.
That's possible, but was very early on.
I'll give you an example. When you abuse steroids for a long time, I mean a prolonged time, I'm talking about 10 years, 12 years. My mom was on steroids for allergies for 40 years. One of the things that can happen to you is a heart valve will get calcified. That's one of the things. Ryan had it. Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'm sure he used steroids early in his career, had it, and my mom had it.
I'm gonna have to ban Mikey from the chat rooms now. He just brought up John Franco.
John Franco pitched. Yeah, he pitched for a long time with the Mets, but
I hated John Franco. I still hate John Franco. Don't ever say John Franco to me again.
Why do you hate JF? See, I didn't say it.
He's just a cocky little fuck. He wasn't really that good a pitcher. He blew more games. He blew more games than he saved, as far as my perception of him is.
He was definitely
one of my favorite Mets. He says, "I hate you. I hate you. You're a dick. Get off my chat. Get out of my chat room. Take your John Franco and get the fuck out of here." I'm sorry.
The best reliever the Mets ever had is Tug McGraw. That's the best reliever by far.
Jesse. No, Jesse Orozco in his prime.
Well, Jesse, but he didn't have the fire the friggin' McGraw had, man. I mean, people jump. Name a year, aside from maybe the 1984 Tigers, where the whole team jumped on a reliever's back, like the Mets did in '73. It was insane. I mean, they had Willie Hernandez.
But look at what you were dealing with in '73. I mean, what they win? They won the division with like 84 games.
82 and they were 81 and 79.
Jumping on his back to 500 teams.
And they led. Here's the thing that people don't remember: they led the A's 3-2 in the World Series. They were so close to beating the freaking A's.
Yeah.
Big mistake is when Yogi started Matlack in Game 7. He should have started George Stone. But
I know Yogi, for all his greatness on the field, was a terrible manager. He definitely was. He's not.
But it wasn't over till it was over.
Yeah. Well,
and nobody goes to
Italian
guy from the neighborhood.
We're talking about Franco.
I know.
Not from my neighborhood. He wasn't from my
neighborhood. Also, who was the other guy that Mets had? They had a nice tandem in the late '90s. They had Turk Wendell and Dennis Cook. They were really good. And Armando Benitez.
Turk Wendell's father used to drink a bottle of Jack every time his son got brought into the game.
Yeah, we all did. We all did. That's why I had to.
Franco was from Brooklyn. What are you asking? Where's Franco from? He was from Brooklyn.
No, he's from Queens.
He was from Queens?
Yeah.
I think it was Brooklyn. Come on, let's look this up. I'm going to look this up.
Yeah, I think it was Queens because he pitched at St. John's with Frank Viola.
I know he pitched at St. John's.
And Frank Viola went to my high school. And I sat in front of him in health class.
Let me see here. John Franco. Wait, it doesn't say where he was born.
It might be Brooklyn. I don't know.
Yeah, Brooklyn, 1960, Brooklyn.
Same. Yeah, we had the same. We were born the same year.
Yeah, and you weren't very good on the mound either. So,
who?
You weren't very good on the mound.
I love mounds, and I'm enjoying. Don't say that.
I don't think you are good on the mound.
No, I was a really good hitter though. I had a lot of power, and I was a switch hitter too. And that's not a joke. I batted lefty and righty. Huh. I actually batted against Frank Viola in batting practice, and I hit one against the batting eye at East Middle High School. So
what about Mike Hampton?
Mike Hampton.
I forgot about him.
Well, Mike Hampton was the 2000 Mets. He was the ace then.
Right.
2000.
Right. Brett Saberhagen. How long was he a Met for?
4 years. And then him and Vince Coleman decided to spray bleach on reporters' clothes. And
was that him or was that Cohen?
No, it was him. I was a reporter.
Cohen was jerking off in the bullpen.
What?
David Cohen was jerking off in the bullpen. I'm not making that up. I'm gonna.
Well, that's why they called him a short man. Okay. No, I mean, I was in the Met locker room the day after the bleach incident, so that's why I remember it was Saberhagen.
What am I calling? I can't just put Cohen bullpen jerk off. No.
I never heard that.
Yeah.
By the way, you're being very graphic right now.
I know I am. Was David Cohen ever caught masturbating in the New York Mets? I swear I remember the true story from the 1980s, early 90s. A friend of mine says it never happened, but I remember reading about it.
Why would you ever do that?
Story came out about 10 years ago. Some groupie fan went into the Mets bullpen at Shea Stadium, and Cohen was pleasuring himself in front of her. She sued the Mets, but the case was thrown out of court.
Oh, that's why he did it.
Oh, it was in all the papers in the day, and I don't remember him ever denying it. I think it was like he said it was consensual, and so in those days that was all you need to, you had to prove it wasn't consensual. So the Mets were full of that kind of stuff at that.
I hear that David Cohen and Louis C.K. are tight, so it probably makes a lot of sense now.
Yeah. I know.
Sorry.
I'm just worn out by this whole thing. But I think Mikey's right, though. I mean, I'm trying to think of good Mets pitchers for more than 5 years, and there weren't more than a handful, and they were a long time ago. Koosman and Seaver.
Matlack.
Matlack was on for 5 years.
Sure he was. 72 to 77.
You making that up?
Nope. Matlack's he pitched part of one of the first games I went to in 1971. He pitched a game against the Reds or the Reds. I remember it was in August and he lost, but I
I think
remember
Ron Darling was probably around for about 5 years.
Darling went by, I think by 89 or 90, he was with the A's or the Rangers. He got traded.
Right, but he came up in like 84. He came up when Strawberry came up. It was the same year Strawberry. I think 83, 84.
83.
Yeah.
83.
Yeah, so he was with the Mets for 5. But
I
again,
was at
that's more than 30 years ago.
I was at Strawberry's first game. It was fantastic. He went 0 for 4, but he hit a foul home run. But that game was one of the best games ever.
I'm not sure. Maybe I got to ask my brother if we work. I don't. I know we went to a lot. We were thinking Strawberry was going to be much better than he was, obviously, and because the New York press had him being the next Willie Mays, and
Ted Williams.
Yeah, right.
No, they did. They said his swing
I
like
know.
Swing like Ted Williams. I when I saw he was coming up, I remember opening the Newsday like on that morning. I said, I'm going to the game, and I just went because I wanted to see this kid play. And well, I remember the Mets were losing by 2 runs in the 9th, and I think it was Dave Kingman hit a 2-run home run to tie it. Then in the 10th, they went down by another run, and then Eubie Brooks hit a solo home run to tie it. Then the 13th, George Foster hit a 2-run home run to win the game. It was a great game. I remember being like one of 12 people left in the stadium, but we were screaming. It was great.
Dave Kingman.
Dave Kingman. Kong.
Yeah, batted 200 every year, but hit 40 home runs.
Yep, and he would really do well in baseball today since they don't count batting averages heavy anymore.
And all these ridiculous stats that they come up with, the WAR and all that.
WAR, OPS.
Yeah, fuck that stuff.
That's where it's going, though, dude.
Well, it's going out of my house. It's off. I'm not watching it. I'm not dealing with it. That's why I'm so negative on it. It's all their fault. They ruined it. So fuck them. Fuck football.
I'm afraid it's going to get worse before it gets better because I hear that they're really seriously considering doing electronic umpires, balls and strikes.
Right.
Which doesn't make much sense to me. But
yeah. Well,
I'm surprised the umpire union lets it happen. But
how could they? How could they let that happen? They can't let that happen.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So, all right, we're ending this program. Give people off the cuff on YouTube. Is that where you want them to go? You want to?
Well, yeah. You can find me. The show debuts on Saturday at noon Eastern Time on Spotify. So you can go to Spotify and see it, or listen to it. Well, not listen to it. You can see it. And you can go to my webpage, which is www.offthecuffwithcraigmitchell.com, or on Facebook. Just search for Off the Cuff with Craig Mitchell, and you can find it on Facebook too.
All right, good stuff. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to call in Mike Francesa. Is he still on WFAN? I don't even know. He's got like a podcast or something now. I want you to call him up and give him your Met stuff, but record it and then let me hear how it goes.
Can I pretend I'm the Mad Dog?
Hey, Mikey, how you doing? How you doing today?
Hey, Mikey.
Hey, Mikey.
Hey, dog, I gotta tell you, the Mets really suck. I don't really like the Mets today, though.
He was a big Conforto fan. I know that because a few times I heard him. He was thinking Conforto was the best guy the Mets had at the time. I heard him.
He should have been, but and now he's not playing this year, which is unbelievable.
I know. All right. Well, that's
Matt, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. You're always there for me, my friend. Thank you.
It's a pleasure. You're welcome back anytime. Next time we'll talk about the Ducks because they're probably the best team in.
And the BBB wants to have you on the show again sometime very soon.
Anytime.
Thank you, sir.
Look forward to it. All right. Have a good night. We'll see you.
All right. Bye.
Craig Mitchell, Off the Cuff, Healthy Cooking with Craig Mitchell. You can just go to just Google it, man, or find him on Facebook and all that kind of stuff. He's around. That's what I'm saying. Now, where you don't want to look for him is WFAN New York or whatever, SNL. I think it's SNL. I don't know. I don't even know the networks anymore. But whatever. That's the show for tonight. I hope you check out Craig's show. Again, it's not just for diabetics. It's for people who like to eat and don't mind cooking their own food. Me, I'm going to go get some pizza and a beer. Call it a night.